Hi ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Ma Kalesi, and today I'm going to go ahead and make a video about the Anunnakis. And I wanted to do a video that kind of connected the Anunnakis with the Da'at part of the Tree of Life. Also, I want to the evolution of the planet, the quarantine, and the return of the 144,000 twins. So to go ahead and start this, the first question we ask is, a lot of times people hear about the Anunnakis making these experiments, and the question is why? Well, if you've seen some of my older videos about the Anunnakis, the reason is because they hit a plateau in their evolution, and what happened is when they hit this plateau, they realized that they weren't evolving higher based on an experience that they did in the past. And by doing that, they wanted to go ahead and make a connection to the upper part of the Tree of Life, which is connected to the Binah, or the Chokmok part. But by doing that, they knew it was complicated because the only people who had access to them was the Nichirus. But because the Anunnaki wasn't, let's just say, as advanced as the Assyrians or the Nichirus or the Tetians, they kind of tried to do things according to the way they thought was best for their type of perspective. So one of the things they did is they went ahead and systematically input their DNA into an evolutionary planet for what you call the humans and created the Adamites. So by fusing their DNA with the Adamites, they became part of this hybrid type of evolution which was connected to the humans. But that happened on a microcosmic level. But a microcosmic level, they decided that they wanted to go ahead and work with the Tree of Life. Now, for those who understand the Tree of Life, you must realize that there's technically 4 worlds on the Tree of Life. There's the 4th world, the 3rd world, the 2nd world, and the 1st world. And the higher the world is closer to the Kepler level, the more advanced those worlds are. So on the highest level, what you have is you have Binah and you have Chokmok. But to go ahead and access to that world, you have right below it Da'at. And Da'at is basically the bridge to the 1st world. And you can't usually access that world without that principle. So what happened was the Anunnakis decided that looking at this, they realized and knew that each cipher of the Tree of Life represents a planet. And not only does it represent a planet, it also represents an angel or a governor, which gives you access to those higher realms. And so basically they knew at that time, a very long time ago, that Da'at was a representation of a planet called Maldek in our solar system. So when they thought about this, they said, well, if Maldek is the governing or the bridge to the higher realms, we can go ahead and try to implant a planet on that Da'at part of the solar system of Maldek. So what they did is they systematically dismantled or destroyed Maldek, which was a planet, a very reptilian planet, and decided that they wanted to do the return of the 10th planet, which they called Nibiru. So a lot of times when people hear of the return of the 10th planet, Nibiru, they don't really understand what this basically means. And basically what that meant is they were going to go ahead and put a planet in a part of the solar system where the Da'at planet or principle was basically meant to be. But that actually didn't work out well, because to have that position, you need to be very organic or be connected mentally as well as physically to the Etherian energy. And because they also obviously had metal ships and they weren't really connected organic to that part, it wouldn't work. So a lot of times when people talk about the return of Nibiru or return of this planet, what they're not realizing is technically not a planet. What it is, it's a metal ship. And Nibiru, it looks like a planet, it's circular like a planet, and there are many Nibirus. However, the Nibiru was supposed to be placed in replacement of Maldek, but that's not going to work, and so that plan is not going to go ahead and happen. But what does that mean for us? So now when we think of it and you look at the Tree of Life, you see that there is a principle missing or a planet missing called Da'at. And that, because that's been missing and because that's the bridge to the upper realms, we have kind of messed up our evolution here on this planet. And so what you have is you have 3 different worlds that are below the higher worlds, and we kind of lost that bridge, which has disconnected us to the higher realms. And by that, we haven't been able to tap into those energies or have access to those energies, because the bridge, which was Da'at or the planet Maldek, has been missing or has been gone. So what we've been doing for the time has been not really evolving to our highest potential, and we have been using other sources that are not tapping into the higher levels. And what we need to do is we need that Da'at principle to return. So when people talk about the 144,000 twins coming, basically that's talking about the twins are coming at this time who have higher selves connected to these higher parts of the tree of lives, but are using themselves as a pillar between the twin flame relationships or divine sex. And by connecting together, and when they connect together, they're going to go ahead and channel or pull in those higher realms into our world, and therefore they can be the channel between the two realms in replacement of Da'at. And so by that, with that happening, you can call it etherian energies returning, dark energies returning, or light energies returning. So I know a lot of times people will hear about Nibiru, or a lot of psychics or people who are connected to Anunnakis would talk about this planet Nibiru returning, but no one really told the full story of it because they're coming from the Anunnaki perspective. But looking at a bigger picture, you can understand why that principle is missing, and why the return of the 144,000 twins are returning, and why their union, if it works, because sometimes they're not going to work, fusing together, they can both become access, pulling down etherian dark energy or violet light. Now the Chokmah, a lot of times the Anunnaki would call them the doers, or the Benawers, the watchers, and that's why they're coming into this dimension to go ahead and connect those two worlds together. And then therefore quarantine would be over, because that Da'at principle will now have us all access to the realms up and down the tree of life. And the Kepler level is obviously the all. So basically that's my quick introduction, or a good overview between the Anunnakis, what happened with their evolution, and what was happening to go ahead and bring a resolution to that problem of an about experiment, and therefore people can have a better understanding of what's going on. So that's my quick video. I hope you like it, and I'll see you in my next.